Hey folks, how you doing? I'm Sean. Welcome to the piano tutorial channel for those of you who are trying to play by ear or gospel piano by ear. And we're going to do an old school song today, For God So Loved the World, in the key of D flat. Go ahead and check out Danye, where this song comes from, Danye Music on Instagram. We've been doing some crazy songs on this channel for the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to go back to the basics. We want to do something actually a little bit simpler today, but make sure you get a good understanding of what he's doing. What do you do for those of you who want to accompany yourselves, you're singers, and you just want to be able to sing and play behind yourselves? This is in the key of D flat. I always recommend that you start by playing the scale first, scale of D flat. So if you don't know that, pause the video, play that, come back, and then we do the triads next. Always do the triads, the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, the 7 chord, and back to the 1. And every chord that they play should be one of those chords. And if it's not, we call it non-diatonic. It means we're borrowing from something else. But generally, these are going to fall within these numbers. Now, if you see how he starts that song, there's a 1 chord. He does something with that 1 chord. What's going on? Okay, so here he has a 1 chord, and he takes this 1 chord. Well, let me play it first. All right, I'll just add that too, right? So what's happening here? Well, a 1 chord is this. Right, so what happens is a lot of gospel musicians like to embellish the 1 chord by adding the 6 and the 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it means that you would add a B flat. And then the 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is an E flat. So you add to the 1 chord, you add these 2 chords. And this is a really nice way to just kind of modernize your 1 chord. The melody at the top of the song is an A flat, so let's take this A flat and move it up. So now we're switching things around here, but it's still a 1 chord, right? We may not even need the D flat, so now you can go something like that, all on this 1 chord, and it makes sense of why we did that, simply because we just added the 6 and the 9, and now I'm just playing going down a half step, going back up a whole step. So stuff like that is kind of how I approach harmonization, is just always knowing on each chord, what am I doing, right? If we look at the 7 chord here, so we have the 7th chord is a diminished chord. Well, the first way to expand this chord is to play it as a 7th chord, which is to add a B flat. And now we have what's called a half diminished chord. Now what's happening here is after this chord, it goes to the 3, which is an F minor. And the progression ends on the 6th chord. So the note before the 6 is usually a dominant chord. Okay, so we're on the 3rd note, which is an F, but instead of playing it as a minor, like you would when you were rehearsing over these diatonic triads, we're going to change this to a dominant because it's being used to approach something. So dominant chords are used to approach something. So that means that I would take this A flat and change it to an A and add an E flat on the top. That changes it to what's called a dominant 7. So we go from the C half diminished to the dominant 7 to a B flat. So let's play that. All right, so let's try that from the top. I'm still on the 1 chord here. I'm still on the 1 chord. Even though I've done a little bit of embellishments to add to it, in my head I'm still thinking a 1 chord. I'm on the 7 chord here. Right? If I were to, I'm still thinking in terms of a 7 chord. Now, I may have embellished that 7 chord with a Locrian, and I discussed that in a video, I think it was a Mike Burrell video I did where he was playing Give Thanks. Check that video out if you really want to know more about that Locrian natural 2 sound. But that's all that was. But again, in my head, I'm still thinking of a 7. And then I'm thinking of the dominant. You can even use a whole tone scale here. Right? right? That's a whole tone scale. Somebody asked me in the comments last week, Sean, where would you use a whole tone? All of these, I call them devices, you can use once you understand the bass form, right? Because the whole tone scale just simply takes, I could start on the F, since I'm playing an F. I could take each of these notes, since we're on F dominant there, and I can use my whole tone scale there by moving each of these notes up a whole step. That's all I did. So, see? And it gives a nice little sound there. And all I'm doing is using the whole tone scale over F and the E flat. Do you see how much we've done just for the 736? I mean, to be honest with you, I could spend just half an hour just discussing everything that we could do with just these 3 chords. And that's where we grow from that understanding. And a lot of, should I say this, Sean? A lot of you folks on YouTube, you just want me to just rush through and just kind of do all the dope stuff. But where all of the goods are, where all of the learning would happen, is right here. Understanding completely why you're doing what you're doing, and understanding why you make a certain change and why it works, right? So let me keep going, because even now I'm skipping a lot, to be honest with you. So if we were to take it from the top using his arrangement, right, so here's the 6/9 chord that I was telling you about, right? I added a C to that, but it's still thinking of a 1 chord here. There's the 7, there's the 7. There's the 3, embellishing it. There's a minor, the 6. I could play it like this, or I could do that, but I'm on the 5 now, to the 1, to the 4, to the 3, or I could go 4. I could do that, or I could do it rootless. All right, so these are the options. And then okay, that was just an E flat. And then I just took this down, and then I'm using the D flat major 7 here. I'm still in the key of D flat. That's my 1 chord. The 7th note was a C and brought down to the bottom. Just like he did. And then that's a gospel move we like, because gospel musicians love using the 1305 chords. And then to my 1 chord, but on the bottom I'm playing a 3. He'd use this chord, and then so you kind of see how I'm kind of trying to explain everything I'm doing so that I'm not stuck here. And the reason why I say that some of us get stuck, where is it? Where's my and the reason why I say some of us get stuck, because we don't know what we're doing. So seek to understand. Seek to understand. That's all I gotta say, man. Seek to understand what you're doing, and you can do what this guy's doing.